Games in Europe, live on Sports Sound.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
And a very good evening to you from Celtic Park for match day 6 in the Europa League and the league phase as Celtic lock horns with Italian giants Roma here under the lights in Glasgow's East End. It is certainly a tough challenge, but Celtic with a little bit of renewed European confidence after that excellent victory in Rotterdam 2 weeks back. Can they build on it? And if they can pick up 3 points tonight, they would in all likelihood be just a solitary point away from the knockout phase. In fact, even 10 points might be enough if they can find 3 of them this evening. 11 would surely be enough to guide them through to the knockout playoff round at least. But the challenge is a huge one. It's Callum McGregor comes to meet Stephen El Shaarawy. He's got the armband for Roma this evening. The Celtic skipper, the Romanian referee, Stvan Kovac down below us. It is a tantalising prospect for Celtic as Roma come to Glasgow for the second time in this season's tournament. They were 2-0 victors across the city at Ibrox against Rangers a month ago. But before we get underway, there will be a tribute paid to the Celtic legend Dixie Dean's Motherwell legend as well. Celtic signed him from there. Here at Celtic Park, he scored 125 goals in 186 matches. And of course, in the early to mid-70s, some of those goals were spectacular. He scored 6 in one match. He's the only man in Scottish football history to score hat-tricks in 2 different cup finals. And Dixie Dean's will be remembered here by those inside Celtic Park this evening. With me, this such sad news.
Yeah,
made such a huge impact here, didn't he?
Very much so. I got to know Dixie mainly after his career when he came back here in his latter days to be an ambassador. But he was renowned mainly because of the name and because of the journey he went on from junior football right up to professional football. And of course he missed that penalty but made up for it in many other games, especially in those cup finals and so against Hibs. So fantastic man, lovely man to be around, and it's a sad day and a nice tribute to him today.
Yeah, his death was confirmed a couple of days ago. Flags are at half-mast, the Celtic players with black armbands on as they prepare to kick off, and the green and white hoops going from right to left as we watch. Engels passing it back to McGregor, then out to this near side for Tierney, who digs a long ball down the left-hand side with the left foot, looking for Tenekti as it's headed out for a throw-in for Celtic, level with the Roma 18-yard line. Roma in their red wine colour, in the shirt, shorts and socks through the orange flashes. You'd expect they're always smartly dressed. Our Roma, as that goes out to play for a throw-in to the visitors this time on this near side. Roma sitting a couple of points better off than Celtic just now, but there is no doubt, Pat, the result in Rotterdam 2 weeks ago has given Celtic renewed hope that they can progress in this tournament. Of course, and as you say, probably 4 points would maybe see them through, maybe even 3 points. But listen, it's going to be a tough night tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing Evan Ferguson playing for Roma. You know, a young Irish man, 21 years old, hasn't been in the team enough probably to develop, see how he fits into this Roma team. But Celtic tonight is about being confident, playing and seeing how this whole system works. Yeah, arguably their toughest task in the tournament so far as the ball comes off Tenekti and out for a thrown on the near side, albeit the referee's given that Celtic's way. It looked like it was a Roma ball. It's come off Celik at last, the Turkish international. He was sent off in their defeat at Cagliari at the weekend. Schmeichel dinks the ball out to Engels on the far side. On the North Stand side, the Celtic rights played back to Trusty, and Schmeichel with a low ball out from his box to Hatate, and he rolls it out to Engels on the far side touchline. Field to McGregor, and then back out to Engels. They're knocking the ball about with a bit of confidence, Celtic, but they're doing it in their own defensive third, and over on that far side Engels was under pressure, but he wins the throw-in level with his own 6-yard line.
They got boxed in, didn't they? They couldn't find a way out, and they've sucked in Roma, and maybe a little ball up to Maeda would have been the best option, just overpassed it there, but they've got away with it, and they've got a throw-in.
We'll keep you up to date with what's going on at Pittodrie, though there is commentary of that available on BBC Radio Scotland Extra this evening. Their Conference League tie against Strasbourg in the Granite City tonight. Poor ball out by Schmeichel, and Roma are all over it, and it's played to this near side for Sule. He's lost it, though he's quickly won it back. He's got the gloves on. It's not too cold a night as Ferguson turns up against his international colleague Scales. He's a little bit short with the pass out to the far side as he looked to get Wrench involved. It's a slight challenge, won it back momentarily for Celtic, but it's Ndika picking up on the halfway line and rolled into the centre circle there for Mancini, who nicks it into the midfield, and it's a big switch by Sule out to Wrench on the far side, and then rolled back the way to Mario Hermoso, the Spaniard, and out to the right hand side of the midfield for El Ainawi, who's going to get back onto it here, the Moroccan. No, Tierney comes to meet him and wins it back, got himself between the man and the ball, shifts it to Scales inside his own box, then to Tierney, who gets it away, but Celtic struggling to get out their own half here as it goes bouncing off Pisili and out for a throw into Celtic on this near side. It's 0-0 in the very early stage. It's just 3.5 in.
Yeah, Celtic should be able to dominate midfield. They've got that box of 4 in there, obviously, with McGregor, Engels, Hatate and Negrin up against. Here's a run from Maeda.
Yeah, Ndika gets in between Maeda and the ball, and it's back with the goalkeeper Svilar, who launches it long up towards the halfway line where Scales meets it and turns it back to Schmeichel.
Yeah, the one thing with Scales is that he knows that he has probably got the legs on Ferguson. Ferguson is a good player, he holds the ball in well, and he's good around the edge of the box, but he hasn't got that electric pace maybe that other strikers would have, and I think Scales can match him in that way.
And it's an important block there by Kieran Tierney because Celik was in behind him. Celtic only get it half away. It's with Sule, who looks to switch the play out to that left hand side for Wrench. And over the edge of the D of the Celtic box, down the line for El Shaarawy. Come off the bench in the game against Rangers. He's managed to get it back to the edge of the area, but Wrench can only pass it through to Kasper Schmeichel, who holds on. It's another dreadful ball out by Schmeichel.
Yeah, he's tried that volley, hasn't he? He loves that volley, that side volley, and he didn't make good connections and give the ball away.
Straight to Celik, and now it's Sule driving down the right hand side. Tierney trying to stick with him. It's broken there to Celik, whose attempted cross is blocked there and behind for the first corner of the match, which goes to Roma, and that's all come from the slack ball out there by Schmeichel.
Yeah, and listen, when you have good possession, there's no need to rush early on in the game anyway, and he just tries that volley. It just doesn't get connections, picked up midfield, and it allows them to be on the front foot again, and they've started well, Roma, in this game.
There's their noisy supporters off to our right. A good view of this Sule corner, which is going to be an in-swinger with the left foot on this near side as they attack the goal to the right, and it comes as a header in. Roma in front. As simple as that. And absolutely no problem for Hermoso, who got up there, nodded it in from 7 or 8 yards out. He and Mancini rose, and into the net off the underside of the bar it goes, and inside 6 minutes Celtic trail the Italians. It is Celtic 0, Roma 1.
Well, it all comes from that volley from Schmeichel. He gives away the corner, but I'm not sure whether that was an OG of Scales.
Well, they're saying Mancini got the final touch. He and Hermoso went up for it.
Yeah, up against Scales, and again, that's where Celtic struggle. They've only got the decent-sized centre-halves and Trusty and Scales. Everybody else is fairly small. They're up against big players, and they were outdone on that occasion, and that's a very, very poor start from them.
Gianluca Mancini then got the final touch. By the looks of things, we do not have a monitor, so we can't confirm that ourselves here, but it's the 6'3" Italy international with just about an unchallenged header there as he rose the head in. And we saw Shane McEntee score for Hearts directly from a corner at the weekend. They have learned nothing in the last few days from that.
No, listen, it's into the 6-yard box, and you've got to get first contact on the ball, and you've got to dominate, and that's part of the game, the defensive qualities. You can talk all about the attacking side, but defending is crucial.
There's Ferguson on this near side for Roma as they come again. Soulé flights the ball in, it's headed half away. They're trying to keep this alive. Ferguson flicking it back towards the edge of the box, and Celtic get the free kick for might well have been a use of an arm there at the edge of the D.
It was a referee. It was a referee. He tried to do a hokey cokey and get out of the road, and he didn't manage it.
Celtic get the uncontested drop ball, and it's Scales who turns it to Trusty to his right, then back to Kasper Schmeichel. As you were saying there, Pat, I mean, it's all come from his loose ball out from the back. It's unnecessary, isn't it?
He didn't have to rush.
Maida is chopped to the ground by Ndika inside his own half there. It's a Celtic free kick. It's to the left of the centre circle. What an early savage blow that is for Wilfried Nancy, who made the worst possible start here at the weekend. After it appeared that Martin O'Neill had steadied the ship, they're back in choppy waters. Hatate with a long ball, looking to try and get Yang in behind down that right-hand side. He drives. Wrench gets there first. Yang puts the pressure on, claims the ball's gone out for a Celtic throw-in, which it has. Level with the Roma penalty spot. Finally, the Scottish champions get up the pitch here. They trail 1-0 after 8.
Yeah, that ball over the top, and Yang did well to race, keep running, and won the throw-in, and it gives him possession in the Roma half.
Chance here for Celtic. Maida gets a touch in the box, just wriggled away from him. He can try and keep it alive. He's gone down, he's lost the ball, and Roma able to come away with it there with Mancini as it's turned down the line, looking for El Shaarawy. It's blocked by a Celtic body, but it breaks back to the visitors, and a little cam ball rolled out there by El Ainaoui to this near side.
Sorry, Liam, there was a little chance there, I think, for Negrin actually to pull the trigger. He elected to pass the space open up for him when he got the ball in between the lines, and he could have drove forward and had a go, have a shot, but he tried to pick out Maeda, who just was outnumbered probably inside the box and lost possession.
Right, that is now going down as a Scales own goal, Packy. So you did mention that it may well have come off a Celtic head last.
Yeah, he was just out-muscled. I think there was 2 players on him.
The chance here, Zeki Celik, and then it's played out to the left and flashed across the face of goal by Wrench, and behind for the goal kick. This is all right, and we're not even 10 minutes in. This is looking like it could be a long old night for Celtic. Yeah, well, this is a problem. You know, we talked about wingers obviously playing as wing backs. They've got to be able to defend. They're up against 2 obviously wing backs also in the Roma team, but that's their job now tonight. They're not going to get a lot of help unless McGregor slides across, unless Engel slides across and helps them in a 2v1 situation. But normally it'll be a 1v1 situation, and that is the question then. Can they defend in a 1v1 against good players? Ndika just slipping it to Mancini and out to Hermoso over on the left hand side. Rolled up towards halfway for El Shaarawy. Manages to nick it out wide left. An opportunity here. He gets it back in the quick 1-2. El Shaarawy driving down the left-hand side of the box. McGregor gets back and wins it off him. Good bit of pickpocketing that by the Celtic captain.
Yeah, he needed to, and that's what I was just saying earlier. Yang again got beat too easily out on that touchline, and suddenly they were breaking forward. And McGregor, as a midfielder, having to get across to help him out and defend.
It's going to be a Roma throw-in over on the far side. Wrench is over it. He pulls it in field there to Ferguson, gets it back to Wrench. The Dutchman clipping it into the midfield here, and it's El Ainaoui who gets it to Soulé, right hand side of the Celtic box, driven across straight at Schmeichel at his near post though, and the Dane holds on. 11 played, Celtic 0, Roma 1.
Yeah, we talked about dominating the midfield, and it's actually Roma that's dominating the ball at this moment in time, and Celtic not able to get a proper grip on it, and then they're really dangerous in those forward positions.
Side of play, but there will be a free kick for a challenge on Ndika, as that's slipped in field there to Mancini, and slips it to his left. Hermosa's made his run down the left. It's played forward by Pasili.
Offside.
And a long ball forward. El Shaarawy gets chased, but he can't keep it in play. But as Pat was suggesting there, a flag has gone up as a drizzle descends on Celtic Park from above. Celtic making the worst start possible as they went behind to a Scales own goal.
Yeah,
inside the opening, what was it, 6 minutes?
Yeah, just gone back to the goal. Obviously, you know, he did make first contact, but unfortunately he was kind of almost out-muscled, and he couldn't direct it away from goal and headed up into the top corner from about 6 yards out. And that can happen, but you've got to be able to defend and defend really strongly, and puts them on the back foot. But it all comes from Schmeichel's unforced error. You've got to say he shouldn't have done what he did. He should have held on to the ball, just take the heat out of the game a little bit. I know there's an 8-second ruling now, but that's still a long enough time to allow them just to settle down.
Hermoso goes back to his goalkeeper, and Spilar clears, and out it goes for a throw-in to Celtic over on the far side, level with the edge of the centre circle, inside the Roma half. It's on the right, it's Yang bowling it infield to McGregor, who nods it straight back out to the South Korean. Forward to Maida, trying to play it into the path of Nygren, but mopped up by Hermoso, who gets it back to his goalkeeper. Spilar just playing it out to his right-hand side for Zeki Celik. Long ball forward, Scales holding off Ferguson. He's done well there. It's Liam Scales as he prods it infield to McGregor, who goes back to Trusty, who slides it forward to Engels, then to Nygren, gets the break of the ball, finds Maida, tried to work it back into the path of Nygren, but Ndika's there. Even turn it out to Wrench on the far side, and up the line to El Shaarawy, now to Wrench. Almost got tripped up there, he stayed on his feet, and he drives forward down that inside left channel. El Shaarawy's on the touchline, passes it out to the now veteran Roma skipper for the night, played infield to Wrench. Now comes to El Ainawi, into the box for Ferguson, couldn't quite get round Trusty. McGregor picks up the scraps and passes it out of defence, finds Tenekte, who's in a central position, and he's had to work it out to Yang over on the far side, back to Trusty and to Scales. Then Austin Trusty goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. There's been a goal at Pittodrie. Aberdeen, remember, taking on Strasbourg in the Conference League. Tyrone Smith.
Yeah, Lee, I mean, you can probably tell by the noise in the background that it's a goal for the home side. It was a corner from the left-hand side. It was swung in by Stuart Armstrong, and Mats Knuster, he rose the highest to guide his header into the net to give Aberdeen a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's a fabulous start for Aberdeen against that expensively assembled Strasbourg side. Still early on, they did lead Shakhtar Donetsk on Matchday 1 in the Conference League, but if Aberdeen have any hopes of going through, they have to win that one tonight, and they were at massive odds, really long odds to win that game this evening. But Mats Knuster's opened the scoring. Aberdeen 1, Strasbourg 0. Here in the Europa League, Celtic trailing Roma by the same scoreline as they try and work a way into this match. Easier said than done against the team sitting 4th in Serie A, just 4 points off the top, and Hatate's got himself in a mess, but he's managed to redeem himself, and then he passes it off the referee, and Celtic supporters howling their derision. And referee Kovacs, who was in fairness to the ref, he's not anticipating the error of judgment from Rio Hatate that almost cost him possession. But it's a Roma throw-in's been given, as he did allow an advantage to be played. Celtic were in possession. It's not going to endear him to the supporters as Sule makes a move towards the edge of the box. Be even worse for Celtic here if Roma profit from it. Ferguson working it wide right to Celik. Level with the penalty spot. Wins the corner off Nygren. The Celtic supporters has won. Have a go at the Romanian in charge of proceedings here. In his defence, he did try and allow Celtic an advantage there, because they emerged with the ball despite it hitting him.
Yeah, no, listen, that's the argument for the referee, and I think he's the man in charge, so that's what he's probably saying to the players. And you know, Celtic was a poor pass after the ball came off the referee. So
exactly, if that had been a good pass, nobody had been moaning.
No, that's the point, Liam. You're bang on.
Corner, Sule to take on this near side. The Roma right as they attack the goal to the right. 16 minutes in, Roma leading 1-0. Sule waits. The referee has got his eyes on a few of the players in the box. They scored from their last corner from this situation. In it comes, headed away by Engels. Tenecti can't control or clear. Breaks back to Sule on this near side. Bends a left foot, cross ball in. Decent, headed away by Scales. Hermoso keeps it alive, flicks it up high above his head towards goal. Headed away once but twice by Celtics. Coming back into the area, and Trusty with a calm header to his right for Yang, who controls and clears. It's a long ball up towards Dyson Maida, who's lost out to El Shaarawy. And it's with El Ainawi, who's back into the centre circle. Pat.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Maida up front. They're obviously trying to hit him on the halfway line, but I think most of the balls he's got so far he's given away. That's not his game, really. His game is a running in behind and running with a speed and pace that he has, and he's not a centre forward that I would assume that would hold the ball up in that way.
Celik for Roma, midway inside the Celtic half, plays it short, and El Ainawi gets it out wide right here for Sule, level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. It's picked up here by Sule from Celik. Sule trying to tie Nygren up in knots. An offside flag's going up here on this near side against Gianluca Mancini. And it'll be a free kick to Celtic on this near side. 1-0 Roma, 17.5 minutes on the clock. The fallout from Sunday's defeat to Hearts here has been spectacular. If you're Wilfried Nancy, if he didn't know what this was all about and what Scottish football was like before he arrived at the club, or even in his first couple of days, he sure as heck knows about it now. Apparently that Aberdeen goal was chalked off for a handball against Strasbourg. That was about 5 minutes ago we heard from Tyrone. It's just been chalked off, so it remains 0-0 at Pittodrie.
Yeah, just listen, there's always pressure. We did say it from the very start. When you come into a job, and especially in the middle of a season, you've got no time to breathe. You've got the big games, and of course you get beat against a team that's up challenging you for the league title. You're going to come under pressure, but I do hope that's a poor ball back from Nygren there. Puts Schmeichel under severe pressure.
He's done well, to be fair, Kasper Schmeichel, as he finds Scales out to Tierney on the near side. Tierney back to Scales, and then back to Kasper Schmeichel again.
Yeah, Roma's
there are teams that you can take risks against. There are teams you can't. This is one of the top teams in Italy right now.
Absolutely, but the whole point here is that they're pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost 6 players up and putting.
There's a cross ball in towards Ferguson, beaten away by Schmeichel. Breaks to El Ainawi. It's all Roma. Played in field to Pisili, who will roll it out to Celik on this near side, level with the edge of the D of the Celtic box. Taking on Tenecti. Out it comes to Sule. Remember, Celtic came from behind to beat Feyenoord last time out. This is looking like a massive step up though, and it's great play by Sule down the right, and he's won the corner off Tierney. Yeah,
Sule just easily beaten Tenecti there. Just drop a shoulder, a little step over, and he was past him, and that then creates a real problem for there's a midfielder, a centre half that has to come out and get in touch with Sule, and he ends up winning the corner. But Roma dominating when they have the ball, because they push Celtic right back, and they're pushing almost every player up and putting pressure on winning that ball back.
And tough night for the Scottish champions so far. 20 minutes on the clock. Sule takes the corner. It's another good one, and it's headed clear. It's a kind of knuckleball delivery there from Sule on this near side. It was he who set up the Scales OG that is Roma 1-0 up in the match. Breaks to the left. It's a loopy cross into the box, which Hatate is going to see behind for the goal kick. And it stays Celtic 0, Roma 1.
Yeah, Celtic under severe pressure from those set pieces. I keep saying that they haven't got the height to match up with Roma, because they've got 4 or 5 big players in the team, and the ball's put in real with pace in around that sort of 4 or 5 yards out. Schmeichel's not coming. They get a punch on him, and he's leaving it to the players to try to get first contact.
Good to watch Roma, aren't they? There are lots of good give and goes, lots of positive attacking play, particularly from Matthias Sule. He's been in the Argentina senior squad. He's yet to be capped. He's just 22. He does have Italian citizenship as well, so there is the possibility that he pledges his allegiance to Italy at some point in the near future. he can't break into the Argentina team, that might be an option for him as Nygren gives it away, but Celtic pick up the loose ball through Yang. Yang flashes it forward to Maida in the centre circle. Back it comes to Yang. It's a first time ball low out to the left for Sebastian Tinekti. He can take on Celik. He's level with the Roma penalty spot. Back to Tierney at the left angle of the box to Tinekti again. Low ball back to Hatate. Squares it for McGregor. And then to Trusty to his right. Trusty forward to Yang, then back to Trusty, and it all ends up back inside the Celtic half.
Yeah, listen, Tinekti had an opportunity there when the ball shifted out to him to really go. I think at the start of the season he was doing that in a 1v1 situation and trying to get that ball into the box, but again he's forced back and it comes back all the way and ends up back at Trusty on the other side.
Nygren short with the ball for Engels, and Roma pick it up. El Ainawi's got it through, but Tierney beats Basili to it and clears it out for a throw-in over on the north stand side for Roma, midway inside Celtic territory.
Yeah, Nygren has been at fault a couple of times now of not being able to get control of the ball when the ball's played to him. He's the spare player in the middle of the pitch, and he's got to get a hold of that ball.
There's a long ball forward there by Hatate, looking for Tinekti. He's in between the two defenders momentarily, but it's a good recovery by Mancini, who bundles it out for a throw into Celtic on the near side, about level with the Roma 18-yard line. Bowled back to Tierney quickly by Tinekti. McGregor for Hatate, looking for Maida. It's a good touch by Maida, though he's going away from goal. Turns it back to Trusty. Left foot ball low forward along the grass to Nygren. Tries to lay it off to Hatate, but it breaks down once again for Celtic, and an obvious foul there by Benjamin Nygren on Basili.
Yeah, but again, Nygren, he plays that ball to Hatate, but he plays it up to his waist high, and he has no chance of getting under control. Hatate, you've got to be better with his touch, better with his control. Nygren, he's running around, getting into good spaces, but then when the ball comes to him, he's just not doing what he's got to do at this level.
Here come Roma again. It's El Shaarawy driving forward up against Tierney. He's to the edge of the box now, rolls it to his right. Soulé, not a great first touch. Soulé leaves it for Celik on the left foot, shoots well wide, and he's annoyed with himself as he slaps his hand in frustration there. It stays Celtic 0, Roma 1. We've played 23 and a half at Celtic Park. Yeah, very good counter-attack from Roma again. They're just breaking forward, and and Siligon out in this right hand side comes in on, and the space opens up for him. He goes to try to, as if he's going to bend it around Schmeichel, and just gets it all wrong. But there's a ball into midfield again, and that ball in is not working because they're reading it too easily. It's terrible from Celtic. Given away again. Soulé rolls it into El Ainawi. Ball in field. He's sold his teammate Basili short there. Celtic win it back. Now it's Tinekti driving down this left hand side. He crosses the halfway line. Still he goes up towards the left angle of the box. A low ball across, and an easy one for Mancini to block, and Roma able to clear. Soulé gets it from Celik, and then it's a long clearance by El Ainawi down this right side. Celik got goal side of Tierney briefly there. Tierney trying to stick with him. El Ainawi picked him out there, Celik, on this near side, and it's now back at the feet of the Moroccan on the halfway line. Right of the centre circle, pings it out to Wrench on that left-hand side. Wrench now attacking the Celtic box, rolls it left-hand side. It's pulled across by Hermoso, blocked by Trusty and cleared with the right foot. The Celtic just have not settled in this game. We've played almost 25 minutes of it. Yeah, there's only been a couple of moments where they've passed the ball in one touch and then laid off, and a good pass into wide areas. But I'm just looking at Tinekti and Yang. They've got a hell of a shift on tonight. They're playing as wing backs. They're expected to get back and defend, and they're also expected to get up and be the creative players in a wide area. And I'm not sure that is going to be, they're going to last the pace doing that. Normally when you're playing with your back four, you've got a full back who's and you're operating almost from the halfway line forward, but here they've got to operate almost a full length of the pitch. Listen to Sports Sound this Thursday night here on BBC Radio Scotland FM and on Sounds. Conference League coverage, Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 0, continues from Pittodrie on BBC Radio Scotland Extra and 810 medium wave, and on digital. Here it's the Europa League, and Celtic trailing to a Liam Scales OG inside the opening 6 minutes here in Glasgow. A dink ball out there by Svilar to this near side, where it's knocked up the right hand touchline by Mancini. He's given it away though. It's Tierney who finds McGregor into the centre circle for Engels, under serious pressure there from Hermoso. Goes back to Trusty, out to Yang, first time ball forward, looking for Maida. Chests it down, but it's behind Engels, and it's a gift for Roma again, as Hermoso picks up and chips it forward with the left foot and right through to Scales, and now it's with Hatate. That defence there, Spieler the goalkeeper, and the back three for Roma is the most miserly in Italy this season. That defensive line, and Celtic are going to have to try and breach this evening.
Yeah, when they go man for man, there's a and they keep coming all the way.
And it's given away by Hatate at the edge of the box. Chance for Ferguson, who puts it wide. It's a great opportunity. It's not been blocked by Scales. I thought it had been initially, but he's just sliced at it, Evan Ferguson, and it goes wide for the goal kick. It's Celtic 0, Roma 1. 27 on the clock, but the number of unforced errors from Celtic players in this first half, and we're not even half an hour into it, it's almost into double figures.
Yeah, they're trying to play those really straight balls into midfield, either from the goalkeeper or the centre backs into midfield, with players coming towards the ball, and Roma's getting right tight on them and really wanting that ball back, and then when they won it back, it's a real dangerous area, almost in Celtic's half, about maybe 30 yards from goal, and that's creating the opportunity. That last opportunity for Ferguson, he knew what he was going to do. He's going to take the shot on, and he's just sliced it off the side of his right foot, and it goes well wide. But that was another opportunity for Roma.
It's been, by and large, and Celtic had a superb victory last time, but by and large it's been a completely abject season for Scottish clubs in Europe in the main tournaments. Indeed, some in qualifying as well. Celtic most notably missing out on the Champions League against the Minos Kairat at the end of August. That's why they're in this tournament, but they're being ragdolled here by Roma as Soulé picks up, looks to slip it through at the edge of the Celtic box. He's found Ferguson inside the area, right hand side. Scales sticking with him, picks back to Soulé, tries to bend it into the far post. Good save, Schmeichel. Kept alive by Wrench on the far side. Now with El Shaarawy, who bends for the top corner, but bends it high over the bar, and it stays Celtic 0, Roma 1 on 28.5 minutes. But Celtic once again cutting their own throats here.
Yeah, and listen, Ferguson setting up Soulé on that edge of the box again, and the ball's played this time round Schmeichel. Schmeichel makes a decent save, diving away to his right hand side to touch it well wide of the post, but again another chance for Roma, and you cannot let a player like that pick up a ball at the edge of the box and come on the inside, because that is real danger for the goalkeeper. You've got to force him back wide again. Somebody's got to get really tight.
And the good news for Celtic is they're just one goal down at this moment. Schmeichel making that save there just a moment ago from Soulé. He's a constant threat.
Yeah, you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players from Roma really pushed up to put pressure on that back three, back maybe 4 plus the goalkeeper, and the space is huge beyond that. But when they play it in there, Celtic, they're not able to get control of the ball, whether it's Nygren or Maeda picking it up, trying to pick it up, and it's not just quite working for them.
Roma, one of only 2 Italian clubs to lift a European trophy in the last 15 years, going back to Inter's Champions League victory in Madrid in 2010. We saw them lift the Conference League, inaugural Conference League against Feyenoord, Celtic's last opponents in this tournament. They lose the Europa League final a year later. The current Roma coach Gasperini was in charge of Atalanta when they won in Ireland against the previously unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso. Celtic pick up the ball midway inside their own half with Hatate, rolls it to Trusty, back to Hatate,
there's a
back
press
to
again.
Scales, and then Tierney on this near side. Now Nygren. It's a good ball by Tierney. Nygren tries to get into the path of Sebastian Tenekte. He's driving down the left up against Celik. Here is Tenekte attacking the Roma box here, left hand side of it. He's on the right foot, plays it to Tierney, shanks his shot, still alive, still inside the area. Tierney desperately trying to get there, but it's poked away from him at the last there by Mancini, and Roma come away with it. It's probably Celtic's best passage of play in the game. And El Shaarawy's got the break of the ball off Callum McGregor, and then he's hauled, well, looked like he was hauled to the ground by Trusty. I think not only is that a free kick, but would have been a yellow for Austin Trusty as well. And Gasparini and his coaching staff are quizzing that decision to the fourth official right now.
Yeah, it looks like
an obvious foul you'll ever see.
Absolutely, and got away with it. Referee feeling sorry for Celtic on that occasion, I would assume. But again, going back to Tenecti, 1v1 at the edge of the box. He does everything right, brings it inside the box, cuts on the inside, opens up for him, take the shot on, he ends up doing a little silly pass.
And Dika wins it off Nygren. Now they're attacking the edge of the penalty area, and it's lashed over the bar by Pisili. Goal kick Celtic. Schmeichel's having a go at his teammates. The Celtic supporters are on the edge of their seats and not in a good way right now.
No, they're just getting pressed in midfield, and every time they get pressed, they're not able to control the ball. Use your body, you know, and you know that somebody's coming down, you know, behind you, and you've got to use your strength and your body and just get control of that ball. But they're giving it away, and then it's just because they're on. Roma's in the front foot, then it creates the opportunity for them to pick up the second ball, and that shot wasn't that far over. I can tell you there was real pace, and if it was on target, I'm not sure if Schmeichel was going to be able to save it.
Wilfred Nancy taking his seat in the dugout down below us as McGregor leaves it for Yang on the far side. Is it nicked off him by El Shaarawy, and now it's with Wrench looking to return the favour, but he gives it straight to Arne Engels. He rolls it all the way back to Trusty at the edge of his own box. Celtic 0, Roma 1, 32.5 on the clock. Engels with a long ball looking for Maida, finding him, but it's a poor touch, and out it goes. Got a throw in on the far side.
I can see what they're trying. You know, trying to play that, you know, sucking obviously the Roma players forward. They have a high press, the spaces open up, and then they're trying to play balls into those spaces. But the players receiving the pass, Liam, isn't getting control of the ball, and they're just giving the possession back to Roma.
I mean, I know he's got his own system that he wants to deploy, and he's deploying it from the off here. But was there a school of thought that they go close to what was successful in Rotterdam 2 weeks ago?
Well, listen, you're not going to change the manager. That's what he wants. He's going to take time to get the players. If it's not this group of players, he'll have to change it, and it's going to take him a couple of windows to change it, and we've got to get used to it. But
they need results now.
Yeah, but you know, at this moment in time, this result tonight is a big result for him. If he could get something out of the game, then it would settle things down.
El Shaarawy, long ball looking for Ferguson. Scales gets there first and slips it to his left for Tenecti. He moves it in field, central position for McGregor to his right for Engels. Then back to McGregor. McGregor back to Scales. Callum McGregor seeing loads of the ball, but it's all at the edge of his own area, and they've given it away again. Of the Scottish champions, it's Soulé on this near side.
Do you know what I would do? I would change it and take off one of the midfielders and go and play an extra player up front. You know, and then you have two targets to hit, and that then would create maybe a little bit of doubt in Roma. They may have to change things around, but they need two targets. They can't have Nygren playing as the higher midfield and not being able to control the ball. And I don't know whether that's Johnny Kenny or whatever. I just wonder whether Ferguson's playing tonight by Roma. I think Celtic were interested at one point in time whether he would be a type of a striker that they could bring here. He's not in the Roma team, and there's a lot of speculation about him moving on again. Maybe that's why he's playing tonight. But he's a big target, he's a big lad, and he likes that type of game where he can get the ball into his feet.
This is his 15th appearance for Roma this season. It's just his 8th start out of those appearances. As the ball is nicked forward there. Celtic looking to clock it down this left side with Nygren. Left foot cross ball comes in, but nobody in green and white hoops able to get near it. Wrench on the far side gets it away, looking to get his team up the left hand touchline. El Shaarawy. Wrench is going to chase after this one. He's going across halfway now. That's the cut back. It's a good challenge by Trusty. Goal at Pittodrie again. This one, will it count? Let's find out who's got it. Tyrone Smith.
Yeah, and it's a goal for the visitors. It was a long ball over the top. The man who got on the end of it was Marshall Godo. He took a touch, and then he had the easiest of tasks just to slot the ball low into the net to make it Strasbourg 1, Aberdeen 0.
Soulé for Roma, down the right. Celik inside the box, across it comes and touched into the net by Ferguson. Roma's second goal arrives 10 minutes shy of half-time, and the boyhood Celtic fan doubles the Italians' lead, and Celtic have had an absolute nightmare in this first half. They're being utterly ragdolled and dominated, and a half-time whistle is 10 minutes away. with the scoreline now. Celtic 0, Roma 2.
Yeah, ripped apart down this right-hand side, and again, you see the deficiency when you have a wing-back that can't defend it, and ended up a 2v1 against Tierney, who's pulled out into this sort of left-back position, and a simple, just play the ball into the space, and there was the ball played across the 6-yard box, and Ferguson had the easy opportunity to smash it into the net past Schmeichel, and puts Roma into a convincing position, and they've been that way, I think, probably for most of this half, but that showed me the weakness when you play with two wingers as your wing backs. He's never going to get back and help Tierney.
Another horrific 60 seconds in Scottish football's European season. Aberdeen go behind to Strasbourg, and just moments later Celtic concede again, and they trail 2-0, and at 1-0 you give them an opportunity perhaps to get themselves back into the match, back on terms at some point. From 2-0 down against the best defence in Italy, we all know the Italian game when it comes to their defence. That's where they start the build. It's where they've been so impressive down the years, down the decades, down the generations. Roma exemplify that this season. Evan Ferguson's second goal for Roma on loan from Brighton, and he's made it 2-0 to the visitors, and Celtic simply need the next goal, and they could do with it before the break to give them something to cling on to. Hatate with an up and under. Nygren, right hand side of the box, controls well, has it on his left foot here. Little ball into the box. Engels, a lovely layoff chance for Celtic over the bar.
Best chance.
Yeah, Hatate working it on that right hand side of the box, and it broke to him beautifully. It's excellent play by Celtic, their best move in the match so far. Goals gaping in front of him, and Hatate puts it over, and it stays Celtic 0, Roma 2, but it should be 2-1.
Should be 2-1. He got in. There was a nice little ball from Nygren just into his path. He takes a touch, and then he's kind of almost under a bit of pressure, but he still should have been able to keep that ball down and at least make the goalkeeper save it. He just knocks it over the crossbar. Best chance for Celtic in this game so far. Probably the only one, I would think, isn't it?
Yeah, Scottish football staring at 3 defeats tonight. Rangers beaten 2-1 in Hungary by Ferencváros earlier on. Aberdeen 1-0 down to the expensively assembled Strasbourg at Pataudry in the Conference League. And if Aberdeen don't win that game, they are out. Rangers are out. No matter what happens here tonight, Celtic will still be in with a shout with 2 games left. A trip to Bologna before the Dutch side Utrecht come here. They are 4 points away. It doesn't look like they're getting anything out of this, but you never know. We've seen some spectacular European nights at Celtic Park, but not many recently. No,
the next goal is critical, isn't it? And Celtic have got to get it. They've got to get a hold of the ball. They've got to pass it. They've got I keep saying they've got that spare player in the middle of the pitch. They've got a 4v3 in there, but they've not been able to exploit it or use it. And every time, as Nygren is the one that's further forward at times, but he's just not able to hold on to the ball, and he's been man-marked, and they're pushing one of the big centre halves in on top of him because they've got 3 at the back also, and they're just pushing right in on top of those midfielders and winning the ball back.
One ball from Schmeichel out to this near side, comes off the head of Tenekte. It's still in play. Sule tries to flick it up the line inside the Celtic half, and Tierney gets there, and back it goes to Kasper Schmeichel, who could have done nothing about that second goal. He takes it up towards the edge of his box, and then he dinks it into the midfield, this time wide right. Yang in field, he gives it away straight to Hermoso, who's then fouled cynically by Engels, and a free kick will be given to Roma. Yeah, you remember Gasperini when he had the Atlanta team. It was a man Gasperini, man-for-man marking all over the pitch when he had that Atlanta team, and I've seen them in Dublin in the final, and they were exceptional. And you can see also that's part of what he's doing here too. No Sharawi on the far side, but there's a foul over there on Yang, which will lead to a Celtic free kick on the touchline midway inside their own half. In fact, a throw-in has been given. Just taken quickly by Yang to Trusty, goes back to Schmeichel. Yeah, it was a really good Atalanta side that went all the way to win this tournament. Just months later, Celtic went to Bergamo and picked up a point in the Champions League package. So there's no reason why Celtic can't compete. If they can go to Atalanta, and admittedly they've come down a level since the team that won the Europa League. They can go away from home to Atalanta and get something in the Champions League.
Yeah, different.
No reason
team.
why. Yeah, I know that, but they were a team that were sitting in the top 3 or 4 of Serie A, having won the Europa League as well.
Yeah, well, they'll have to. I don't know if this game's going to be beyond them, so they will have to go and try and pick up points on the road. Utrecht is maybe a bit of a banker. You would like to think so, but Europe, you can never
this
know.
Season,
you can never know.
I don't think there's any bankers for Scottish football clubs this season. It's been dreadful. And this is a Roma team without Cristante, Pellegrini, Dybala, Bailey, all waiting on the bench tonight. Nygren with the ball. It's Maida into the final almost 3 minutes of the first half. Celtic are 2-0 down and desperately trying to get the engine running here. Hatate in the centre circle. Nygren to his right, slips him in here, the Swede, who tries to do likewise with Maida, and he passes it straight through to Sila. Yeah. They don't look like they've got a clue.
No, well, that's another pass that's just given away in a good position again. Nygren in between the lines, and he tries to pick out again Maeda, but the run wasn't there, the accuracy wasn't there in the pass, and just give the ball back to Roma, who's virtually in total control.
Yeah, they're passing it around well. What is a slick surface here now. The rain team's down. There's the Ivorian, Indica, will be off to the World Cup, and they're in Germany's group. Next summer's finals, as Roma pick up on the right-hand side. Driving forward here is Mancini up to the edge of the Celtic box, looking to nick it through to Sule. Tierney does just enough. Good, well, they brought him down there, actually. There's a chance still at the edge of the box. It's with Sule. Sule getting it from Mancini. Sule goes for goal. It's blocked there. He was the right-hand side of the Celtic penalty area as Nygren takes control, and he's tripped, and that'll be a free kick, and it's a bit of a let-off for Celtic as Mancini clipped Nygren's heels. And stays Celtic 0, Roma 2 on 43.
Yeah, you can see obviously again Tunekti picking the ball up in a defensive position, but his instinct is to try to pass his way out, and he can almost put Nygren under severe pressure.
As I said earlier, just 5 wins here at Celtic Park in their last 15 European matches.
It's so important to get in at half-time now, and if they could sneak something, fine, but don't give anything away, and just try to get back in and recover from this first half that they've really been outplayed, and find a way back in.
Tierney to Nygren, looking for Tunekti, a little clip ball down the left-hand side up against Celik. Level with the 6-yard line of Roma now as he drops his shoulder, moves back onto his right, finds Tierney in the box, pulls it across, blocked there by Alainawi. And it falls into the gloves of Svila. There was some optimistic appeals for a penalty there as the Roma goalkeeper gets both gloves onto it. We're in the final minute of the first half now. Celtic 2 down and in a hole. Svila dinking it forward there. A little flick by Sule. Behind him is Ferguson. Scales sticking with him. And he got it half away. Celik dinks it forward, looking for Ferguson. It bounces off his forehead. It breaks back to McGregor, who finds Trusty. And Callum McGregor again squares it to Scales, who goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. We'll find out what the stoppage time's going to be. Another long ball from Schmeichel out of defence has gone straight this time to Ndika. And on this right-hand side, Sule plays it back to Celik, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half, and then back to Mancini, who squares it to the left of the centre circle for Hermoso. 1 minute added and we're into it. At the end of the first half here in Glasgow. It is Roma coming down the left with a wrench. Ball back to El Shaarawy at the left angle of the box. Faced by Yang. El Shaarawy digs it out and finds Mancini. Side foot ball there to Sule at the edge of the area. Gets it into the penalty area. It's a shot and a turn. And Ferguson scores again. And Roma have a third in first half stoppage time. To applause from their bench. It is the Italians with their third goal, and they are putting Celtic to the sword on what's turning into the latest nightmarish night of continental football for Scottish football, and it is Celtic 0, Roma 3.
Yeah, so simple again. Sully picking the ball up on the edge, maybe about 25 yards out, allowed to come in on that left foot and just slide the ball in to Ferguson, who just took one touch, turned, swiveled and struck it through Schmeichel and puts this game beyond Celtic now, and it's only a matter of playing for pride now. But it was they've been outclassed in this first half. Outclassed.
Wilfred Nancy stands below us, arms folded, staring out into the abyss. A horrendous first half of epic proportions here, for the Scottish champions have been put in their place and some. Roma 3 up, and we're not even at half-time.
Yeah, and again, you know, midfielders and again Tonekti, you know, he's not a defender, and I feel sorry for the lad. He's expected to go into that position and defend, and that's not what he was brought to this club for. And just not getting close enough to Sully in the first place, and then of course not defending against Ferguson.
There's
penalty.
Engels has gone down. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is. He was hauled to the deck, was Arne Engels, and Celtic will have an opportunity to get back to within 2 here before half-time.
Well, a lifeline, isn't it? You know, if they can put this away, but definite penalties. Pulled him back. Ball's played into him. He wasn't going anywhere. He was just holding the ball up, and the defender, I'm not sure which one it was. Was it Hermoso? Just pulled him back, and yeah, definite penalty. And again, he's a yellow card also.
Yeah, Hermoso booked. So
yes, a silly bit of defending, you've got to say. You know, Celtic getting inside the box, which is great, not really going anywhere, just hoping that maybe he could lay it off to somebody, but then he just pulls him back and gives Celtic a lifeline, you've got to say.
Well, they might be dead and buried already, but this will at least give them some kind of hope if this can be converted, and it looks like Rio Hatate's going to take it. You know, just making sure the VAR team, there was enough in it. It didn't look like it was that much, but there was enough for Engels to go down, enough contact for Engels to go down. However, it's a very slippery surface out there. El Shaarawy, I think, has talked himself into a booking, the Roma captain. So both he and Hermoso booked. It looks like it is going to stand, and Arne Engels has now got the ball. Celtic have been awarded 4 penalties before this one this season. They've scored all of them, despite failing with 3 of them in their Champions League playoff shootout against Kairat.
Well, I'm looking at also Celtic players. There's only 1, 2, 3 at the edge of the box. Get in after it. You know, you've got Negrin, you know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players sitting back. I know it's near half-time, but get in around the edge of the box. And if it comes back off the goalkeeper, then you have a chance of maybe scoring.
Arne Engels then waits over the ball to take 2 goals already this season. Engels looking for number 3 here to give Celtic some kind of hope. Right-footed penalty. Here goes Engels, off the post, and it bounces away behind for a goal kick on the other side of the goal. And another Roma player's been booked for protesting. It's Sule has been yellow carded, and it all comes to nothing, and it stays Celtic 0, Roma 3. I mean, if you get it, you've got to score that. You've just got to score it. Engels is rubbing the back of his head. It's just couldn't really have gone much worse this first half for the Scottish champions.
No, listen, it was a lifeline. That's what I said. It wasn't once they get back into it, but the lifeline is gone now, and 3-0 down at half-time. That's it.
Awful, awful, awful. And you can hear the Celtic supporters in the background, and little wonder they are on the receiving end of an absolute mothering here. Roma, Serie A title challengers this season, have a 3-0 lead at half-time. The opening goal was an own goal from Liam Scales, directly from a Sule corner. Under pressure from Hermoso and Mancini, came off Scales last, found the net off the underside of the bar, and it was 1-0. Evan Ferguson, the Republic of Ireland international, a boyhood Celtic fan, has scored 2 against them. 2 goals, the first a simple tap in, the second he rolled home into the bottom left corner. Arne Engels spurning some late first half salvation with a penalty after he was brought down himself by Hermoso, but it bounced off the left hand post across the face of the goal, and behind the other side it spun and out for a goal kick. And that means at half-time, when Europa League Matchday 6, a quite horrific first half for the Scottish champions. It is Celtic 0, Roma 3.
Celtic in the UEFA Europa League.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Andy Burke. Apologies for any bad language you might have picked up on the half-time whistle there from Celtic Park. Some Celtic fans pretty angry from what they've seen in that first half, in which their team has completely been outplayed by a Roma side who lead by 3-0, and in all truth it could have been even worse. It's shaping up to be a pretty dismal night in Europe for the Scottish side. It all started in Budapest, Rangers going down 2-1 to Ferencváros, having taken the lead through Bojan Majowski, but their Europa League hopes are all but over with just 1 point from their 6 matches. Celtic are pretty much, as Pat Bonner said, playing for pride in the second half, 3-0 down. But what about up in Pittodrie in the UEFA Conference League? Aberdeen are up against Strasbourg, and Willie Miller and Thomas Duncan can give us a tale of the first half.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. The scoreline isn't much better here. Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 1. However, that does belie Aberdeen's performance, which has been largely positive, especially the first 15-20 minutes. They were excellent, pressing Strasbourg, harrying them, really getting the fans on sides. Thought they'd taken the lead as well. Armstrong, who's been outstanding, with a brilliant corner to the back post. Knuster finished it, which we thought was a towering header, but the VAR had a look at it and found that it had actually come off an arm of Knuster, and so it was chalked off. Lazatic also had a great chance just before that. Armstrong played him through. He got finished away right in front of goal, but Omo Bamidele, the Ireland international, with a brilliant last-ditch block to deny him. And now Sheesh, who's another player who's been excellent, popping up in midfield with interceptions and pressing really well, pinched it on the edge of the box and curled one just wide, but their undoing Aberdeen was just a complete defensive lapse. 35 minutes, Sam Amo-Amayo with a nice run in from the right hand side. He floated a pass in behind the Aberdeen defence. Complete miscommunication from Jack Milne and Nicky Devlin. Devlin overran it, blocked his defensive partner, who then couldn't get onto Martial Godo, who finished low past Dimitar Mitov. After that, Aberdeen did respond reasonably well. Dylan Lobben dragged the shot. Knuster had another header which was well saved by Penders, but they've been unable to get back on level terms, Willie Miller. But despite that, go down the tunnel, 1 goal down, but they were applauded by the home fans, which doesn't happen too often.
It doesn't, particularly when you're on the end of that half-time 1-0 scoreline. But it has been pretty uplifting, I would suggest. I think Jimmy Tulane throwing on a lot of offensive players, and they've certainly taken the game to Strasbourg, and a little bit unfortunate with the chances that they've had and the decision, particularly the Knuster decision that came off the hand goalkeeper. Penders nowhere to be seen, got himself totally stranded, and Knuster headed it. I think it must have come off either his hand or arm or one of the teammates. It was just like a ruck at the back post as it trickled over the line, so that was hugely disappointing. But even more disappointing was the manner of the goal that Strasbourg scored. Jack Milne find themselves in the wrong position as the ball came in from the right hand side, but then Nicky Devlin complicated it by coming in from the right hand side, and he eventually ran into Jack Milne, missed the ball completely, and it just fell for Godo with the left foot, just stroked it into the back of the net past Mitov, who had no chance at all. So a really disappointing goal to lose, some bad defending, but over the first 45 minutes, there have been chances. Auschwitz curler wasn't that far away. The Knuster second header was well saved, and the Lobben volley was saved, and as you said, Carlson had another opportunity too. So there's been plenty of decent play. It's been front foot football, it's been high press football, but they've let themselves down at the back. They've gifted a goal to Strasbourg, and they haven't been able to take their chances at the other end, and that's why the scoreline at half-time is disappointing, but the performance is encouraging.
Yeah, by far Aberdeen's best performance in Europe this season, Andy, but the scoreline at half-time is still Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 1.
You can listen to Thomas and Willie's commentary in the second half from Pittodrie on BBC Radio Scotland on digital, 810 medium wave, and BBC Radio Scotland Extra on sounds. If you want to stick with Celtic versus Roma, stay on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds, and both matches are live online at the BBC Sports Scotland website. Liam McLeod and Pat Bonner have been describing the action at Celtic Park. James McFadden and Tom English are with me in the studio, and quite a contrast there, James. The Aberdeen fans applauding the Dons off the pitch for their first half efforts. Quite a different reaction to that first half performance at Celtic Park.
Yeah, I mean, quite rightly so from the Aberdeen fans. It's been a good performance, and you know, they probably could have been ahead at the time, or at least level. So yeah, they've performed well. Celtic, on the other hand, I mean, they look so disjointed. They're getting caught on the ball. They keep playing the same pass into midfield. They keep getting caught on it. They keep being slack, if you like, on the ball. And you know, it probably could have been more. I know Arne Engels misses the penalty, which would have given them some sort of hope that they could go, and all you need to do then is chase the next goal in the game. But you can't say that, you know, Roma deserve to be 3 goals in front. They absolutely do. It's been Celtic been camped at times in and around their box. Maida's been isolated. Negrin's been slack on the ball. Paki spoke about Tenekte playing in the wing back, and it's not a criticism of him, but it's not suited to him playing as a wing back. So yeah, it's been a hugely frustrating night for Celtic, and you have to say that it's probably fair that Roma 3 goals to the good.
Yeah, Tom English, Celtic have spent pretty much the entire first half chasing shadows for the most part.
Yeah, they have. I mean, this is a Roma team. It's a very good side, and they're playing well. They're not free scoring domestically. They're in the top half of Serie A. They're one of the teams that score the fewest amount of goals. Not that you'd know that by looking at them tonight.
They've saved them all up for tonight.
Saved them all because they've been ruthless, absolutely ruthless. Evan Ferguson has been brilliant. But as Faddy says, Celtic are so slow on the ball, so vulnerable. The amount of space that they're giving to Roma, and Roma are just basking in this. They're basking in the opportunities that Celtic are giving them. They're working very hard, Roma. They're very well organised, and they're just way better. I mean, this is a sobering reminder of Celtic of their place in the grand scheme of things in the Europa League. They are miles off this level.
Yeah, Pat Bonner, there is a real gulf between these sides that's been laid bare at Celtic Park tonight so far.
Yeah, and the shape hasn't helped that, to be perfectly honest, playing with the 2 wing backs who are out-and-out wingers, let's face it. And they've got a hell of a shift on. They have to go run the full length of the pitch. They've got to be defending in 1 minute and try to get up to be creative and the other side. And then, you know, they're playing with the 4 in midfield, with Negrin pushed further kind of forward and helping maybe a little bit at times Maeda, but when they have the ball, they're not able to string any passes together and exploit that extra player that they have on the pitch. And what Gasperini has done, he's done what he actually did with Atlanta, going man for man. He's pushed one of the centre backs in on top of Negrin, and every time the ball's been passing, it's a straight pass into him or into any of the midfielders. They've just gone really tight, man for man, and they won the ball back, and then they were on the front foot and they were creating chances from that, and Celtic could be a lot more down than the 3 goals, to be perfectly honest. And Celtic haven't been able to come up with any sort of way of coping with that, and they've just kept playing. They've had a few counter-attacks, you know, when they got the ball and got probably Tenekte, you know, high up in the area that he should be playing at times, and it looked as if 1v1 maybe, and he creates something, but just kind of it almost filtered out, and Celtic just had no answers, and the shape has definitely not helping them. And I know it's a big talking point. You change the shape, and the manager will say, yeah, listen, you know, it's not about the shape because he wants to get the concept over and getting players. But if you play with 2 wingers against a Roma team that is really exceptional at times, especially when they have the ball and they're pushing you back, then you've got to have players who can actually deal defensively with that, and they're not capable. And as James says, you know, I feel sorry for him. Actually, I'm looking at Tenekte there, and He's trying to get back into a position where you would see a fullback getting back to it with pace and speed, but he's absolutely almost out of breath because he's been doing that hard shift and he can't get back to help. And then Tierney's pulled out of his position and into a left back position, and he's not either a left back or a left centre back, and it's creating real problems for Celtic. And then when Sully gets the ball on the edge of the box, the midfielders aren't doing the job on him. They're not closing him down and pushing him wide and allowing him to come in. He had 2 or 3 chances. He had one shot that was saved by Schmeichel, one that he mishit and went wide, and then laying on the goal for Ferguson. He'll never score an easier goal. 2 goals actually. The first one tap in, and the second one just into his feet, turn and strike on target, and there's a goal. You know, James, you've been a centre forward. You know, you've got Maeda and Negrin up front, and they're trying balls up to him, and it isn't working. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're giving Evan Ferguson too much credit there, Paddy.
No, but I'm just saying. But
the second goal's great quality. The first goal, he loses Liam Scales. His movement's excellent, but it is too easy from a Celtic point of view. And Negrin, look, the problem you've got is, we know Maeda's, he wants to run in behind. He's not great at coming to feet and linking the play. And Negrin's coming far too deep, so I know he's there to try and get in support, but his starting position's just in line with the rest of the midfield. He's going high, and then he's coming his level with the midfield to get a touch of the ball, and it's just going straight back anyway.
Would you not be better playing with another striker if you're going to do that? So you have 2 targets.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, the point on the wing backs having to defend. Listen, I don't mind Yang doing it because I think Yang's got the physicality. I think when you look at Tenekte, since he's come into Celtic, it's the one thing that he is lacking is that physicality to go and play. So the shape's not helping the personnel. And that is always going to be the issue until the manager gets the players that he needs to fit into his system.
So, but he knows the players he has, but he's enforcing his shape on these players. Surely he's got, okay, right, this is what I have here. Now we're going to come up with a shape that suits these, rather than be a slave to his philosophy.
Sorry guys, I just need to pause you just now because the teams are back out of Pittodrie, so we'll have a split now. You can listen to live second half commentary from Pittodrie on BBC Radio Scotland Digital, 810 medium wave and Radio Scotland Extra on Sounds. If you want to stick with Celtic versus Roma, stay with us on 92 to 95 FM and BBC Sounds.
Following Scotland's teams in Europe, live on Sports Sound.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
Right, Tom, I cut you off in your prime. You were saying...
No, yeah, I was just saying it looks like he's decided, right, this is my system, and all of you guys have got to fit into my system, my philosophy, rather than looking at what he's got and saying, right, how can I get the best out of these guys? A bit more pragmatic. I mean, have Celtic appointed a kind of an ideologue here as a manager, a guy who's kind of going to play it his way no matter what he's got at his disposal.
Well, Pat Bonner, he was saying during the week, Wilfried Nonce, that he wasn't a slave to one specific formation. He's got a structure, but there would be fluidity within that. But we've not had a chance to see much of what they can do on the ball tonight so far because they've been starved of it. Yeah, well, listen, when you play with wing backs, you make that decision whether you go with more an attacking wing back or a defensive wing back. And he's gone with 2 out-and-out attacking wing backs, or, well, they're 2 wingers, really. They're not really wing backs. I don't think that's in their profile. I know James said that Yang's a little bit more physical, but even then, at times, in a 1v1 situation, he's not going to be doing the defending. But he's got 2 full-backs almost on the bench. That why not play at least one of them that you can have, and especially down this right-hand side, their left-hand side, Roma's right-hand side, where they're getting absolutely annihilated. And you just make the change early and adapt your players accordingly. Then you can still play your same system and see how it works. Well, Celtic will need to find something in this second half, or this scoreline could get very, very ugly. They trail Roma by 3-0 at half-time. The teams just emerging back out onto the pitch at Celtic Park. So let's hand back to our commentary team for the second half, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
Well, I think we're already in the realms of embarrassing here for Celtic. The date of the 12th of September 2017 is important because That night, Paris Saint-Germain won 5-0 here. That's Celtic's record home European defeat. As they make changes, 3 of them at the start of the second half. Bernardo's on for Maida. Donovan and Iheanacho are going to be on as well. And Iheanacho's been out for a spell, of course, as Tierney goes off to be replaced by Donovan, and Nygren's off as well. And Iheanacho replaces him. So we'll see how that affects the shape, if at all, but it looks as though it's going to be the same, though it's a right-sider and Donovan over on this near side. Now as Roma kick off the second half in their wine red, going from right to left. Celtic in the green and white hoops, left to right towards the Lisbon line stand end. As Hatate knocks it forward to Iheanacho, and Bernardo was blocked off, but the free kick's gone against him. It's a Roma free kick in the centre circle. So Iheanacho back, hasn't been seen since he went off very early on against Sturm Graz in mid-October in this tournament. And Pat Bonner's had a look at those substitutions, and bearing in mind the scoreboard, I'm not entirely sure it's going to have any effect on that, Packy, we shall see. But what do you make of the changes by Wilfried Nancy? It appears that they've come too late.
Yeah, well listen, he's taken off you know, Maeda up front and replaced him, a straight replacement with Iheanacho. He's kept his 2 wing backs in position, but he's put on Donovan to play as a centre half, taking off Tierney, right-footed.
Here's Hatate for Iheanacho, goes down. The ball was won by Ndika though. Iheanacho did well actually initially, and he's done well to pick it up for Celtic wide on the left. Hatate has it, back to Scales. They're all deep inside Roma territory here. Scales goes after it, but El Ainawi gets there first and puts it out for a throw into Celtic over on the far side. It's better.
Yeah, well listen, you know, they have a striker on now that you would expect that can maybe hold the ball up, but he's up there on his own. He hasn't played very much football where he'll be able to sort of get around the pitch in the way that you would expect at this level. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. And it's going to be Engels. Engels is going to be the one that's can almost push forward to support him a little bit more.
It's going to be a Roma free kick, and it was for offside, but for some reason it was taken inside the Celtic half. Anyway, play goes on. Wrench chases it. It's the same Roma 11 has started the match, and Wrench has got in behind Donovan, who reacts well to put it behind for the corner. The Italians on this near side early in the second half. 3-0 to Roma as they look for a fourth here early in the second period.
Yeah, good pace there from Donovan to be able to match Wrench, who had sort of had a yard on him and he got back to, but he's given away the corner. And again, this is danger for Celtic. They've got to defend better than they did in the first half.
Sule will take the Roma left. It's a short low corner in which he gets back immediately, then clipped in towards the back post. It's swung over the byline though, and that'll be a goal kick to Celtic. It'll be interesting to see how Roma take on this second half, because at Ibrox they were 2-0 up at half time in that game and just seemed to just drop down the gears and saw it out without being bothered about scoring more goals. As Celtic will do, and Engels has put it straight to Svila as he crossed in from the right.
The idea was right. I think, you know, Iheanacho was sort of peeling off almost to the back post, off the centre back's shoulder, and he tried to just bend it around in between the goalkeeper and the centre half, but just got it all wrong, straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
Iheanacho, a handball in there, and it's Roma handball. Celtic take a quick free kick. The ref's not ready unless he's giving it the other way. In fact, he is. It's a Roma free kick for a Celtic handball. Despite Celtic taking a free kick themselves, it's gone the other way.
All Celtic can do is hope that they can, you know, almost say it's a 0-0 situation and we will win the second half, and then if they can get an early goal, get back into it. It's a pity that they didn't get the penalty, because that would have given them the lifeline, as I called it, and give them something to really play for in the second half. But 3-0 down, very, very difficult.
They've got plenty to play for, because goal difference could be huge. If they only pick up 3 more points. There were 3 teams missed out in 10 points last season, 2 went through. And goal difference was costly for 3 of them. El Ainawi for Roma rolls it out wide right. Opportunity here for Celik. He's inside the box. A clip ball in, which is headed away by Scales. Header out to this left-hand side for Wrench at the left angle of the box for El Shaarawy. He turns it back to El Ainawi. Low ball with the right foot there. And it's Mancini down the right-hand side of the Celtic box for Sule. Sule then out to Celik. Now it's Mancini. It's a good ball in. Almost found El Shaarawy, and Wrench can't keep it in place. It goes behind for the goal kick to Celtic. Celtic 0, Roma 3. Almost on 50.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a really good ball in, and it was just the pace of it just beat El Shaarawy at the back post, and Donovan just didn't see him getting around the back of him. It could have been, if it was another half yard closer to him, I think he would have tapped it in the back of the net.
And as it stands, Europa League table, Celtic in 24th spot, clinging on to one of those knockout playoff round positions, unseeded. To go through would have to be deemed as a success this season. Celtic, despite the fact they made the knockout playoff round in the Champions League last term, -4 goal difference, which is just one better off than Dinamo Zagreb. They and Ludogorets on 7 points currently. Ludogorets a goal better off than Celtic, so it's all very tight there. As I said, 10 points might be enough. Was last season for 2, not for 3. 11 takes you through. They've at least got 2 games left after this one to rectify it. And try and save some kind of face in the second half of this one, but it's Roma on the ball down the right with Celik. Now Sule taking it for a run down that right-hand side. He's now approaching the attacking section of the pitch for Roma. So he turns it back into the midfield, El Ainawi. Then to Pisili, out to the left, El Shaarawy. Wrench is on the touchline if he wants him. Now it is with Wrench, level with the 18-yard line as he turns it back to Pisili. And then slips it to El Ainawi, right of the centre circle. No misunderstanding, I think that was for Mancini, but it drops to Celik, and now it's with Sule into the centre of the pitch for Pisili. Flashes it with the outside of the right boot, out to the left-hand side here for Divine Wrench. Back to the left angle of the box for El Shaarawy. Great ball, header wide.
Oh, he's got the score.
Offside flag's gone up, which might well have spared Celtic in any case. But really, what an opportunity it was for Pisili. He's annoyed with himself that he's not planted the header in the net. He put it wide of the left-hand post. It stays Celtic 0, Roma 3 on 52 minutes. But my goodness, one ball in, and there were actually 3 Roma players in goal-scoring positions, albeit at least one of them is obviously offside.
Yeah, you might give Celtic a bit of credit. Here's a chance for Iheanacho.
Now Iheanacho's in! Wide! Left to the penalty spot, he puts it wide. It is an opportunity for the man just back from injury. And a roar from the Celtic supporters. There's not been much of that tonight. It stays 3-0 Roma, but chances at either end.
Oh, he's done everything right. He's got good control on it, except hit the target and just knocked it by the post. I don't know from this angle how far wide it was, but certainly a big chance for Celtic. And the other end, maybe you could say it was good defending to hold the line to catch them offside, but they kept the ball really well. Roma just knocked it from side to side, and eventually a really good cross into that 6-yard box. But that was a big chance for Celtic. This is the ball that they've been trying to play in the first half, and again, just Iheanacho not being able to hold on to it. We'll see how he gets on compared to Maeda in the second half.
Well, I just wonder if Maeda's being rested for the cup final on Sunday, because suddenly, I mean, that is looking like a monumental afternoon for Wilfried Nancy, even just a week into the job. And nothing appears to be a given right now. And St Mirren will have that extra prep time. Celtic will have played 2 matches since Saints last took to the field, and they beat Dundee United last Saturday. Full coverage of the League Cup final to come on Sunday, the 80th Scottish League Cup final. St Mirren against Celtic's a 3:30 kick-off at Hampden. Across the city from here, Celtic have to negotiate the final 36-37 minutes of this, and they trail 3-0, and Nancy turns frustrated, looks to the heavens as Celtic play the ball back, and it's Schmeichel to Engels, and now out to Yang on this near side. The 2 big clubs in this city, Packy, they're not normal football clubs. We've seen Russell Martin depart after a handful of matches over at Ibrox. You don't get much time to settle.
No, you don't. And you've got to settle quickly and you've got to win games. That's the crucial factor when you're trying to change things too. Of course, we've seen the changes happening, and that now you've got to win games alongside that. And that's what the big issue for these two teams are.
Swept into the centre circle for Roma with Mancini. It's ball forwards cut out by Engels. Now with McGregor to Hatate. Back to Bernardo. Haven't seen too much of Paulo Bernardo this season. Celtic spent $4.5 million on him a year and a half ago, having been on loan previously from Benfica. He's on it again here, getting it from Hatate, laying it off back to Rio Hatate, driving up to the edge of the box, slips it to Bernardo, out to Yang, right hand side, still alive, this attacking opportunity for Celtic. Yang scuffs his left foot shot, and it's blocked comfortably by Hermoso. Breaks back to Yang, out to Donovan on this near side, into McGregor, encouraged to shoot, which he does, and he shoots wide, and it stays Celtic 0, Roma 3 on 55.
Yeah, that was much better through the lines, and Hatate just picking her up and driving forward. I thought he might have had a shot on target himself. He just elected to offload the ball to Bernardo, and it came wide here, but he kept it going, and eventually they had a strike on goal. Oh,
here come Roma again. And it's Sule. We've seen so much of it. Here's El Shaarawy at the edge of the box, and he goes with the outside of the right into the box, but it's chested back to his goalkeeper by Trusty. And Schmeichel holds on to it. And Celtic have scored at least once in each of their 10 matches since drawing a blank at Dens Park in October. And they really ought to have notched tonight. And Engels smacked the post with that late first half penalty. And put a bit more respectability on the scoreline and given Celtic some kind of hope in the second half, but you kind of feel that when it bounced off the upright that it was extinguished. El Shaarawy passes it straight out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. Donovan pulls it into McGregor and then to Scales, forward to Hatate. Hatate under pressure, goes back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, they're not used to, the Celtic players aren't used to that real pressure that comes on them in midfield. You know, it's a man-for-man situation, and the Roma players are just really good defensively.
They're frustrated against Napoli and Cagliari recently, had got themselves to the top of Serie A for the first time in a decade before the November international break. Back-to-back defeats since then. And Celtic pick up wide on the left hand side, and it's Tenekti back there to McGregor, left of the centre circle. He goes back to Trusty. He's going to have to go back to Schmeichel under pressure from Ferguson.
Yeah, no pass on Trusty when the ball comes back to him, because you know, your wing back is high up, really high up the pitch and on the inside, and I think Donovan has stepped into midfield, which he, you know, as a right back, that's what they've been doing for the last probably number of years, and that's what they're used to. So when you play as a centre back, you've got to hold your ground a little bit, because you're the one that'll have to get a little bit of width at times.
Scales was in two minds for a moment there, and Sule was waiting to nick it off him, but he gets it back to Schmeichel. And Roma face Como next Monday is their next match. Como are up the Serie A table as well. Roma sitting fourth, 4 points behind the leaders, Milan and Napoli, with Inter sitting third. But they're in amongst it and having won the Scudetto since 2001. And as Gasperini tries to lead them to some history, Zendika goes back to Svilar, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you see the difference between Roma and Celtic when they go to press. They press with a real 5-6 players really aggressively. Celtic are just 2 or 3 players high up the pitch, and Roma's able to keep the ball and just pass it under really no pressure.
It's a throw-in for Roma on this near side, which Hermoso will take, level with the edge of the D of his own box, main stand side. Pulls it forward, won by Donovan, goes straight back to the Spaniard, who goes back to Svilar. Iheanacho chasing it down, and Svilar panically has to dump it into the main stand here. It just looked like it was kind of sticking in the turf, which is getting ever wetter as the rain continues to fall here in Glasgow. The throw in for Celtic, Colby Donovan's over it, level with the edge of the D of the Roma box. Donovan looking for an option in green and white. Doesn't seem to be one. Eventually gives it to Engels, back to Donovan, and it comes off Hermoso and out for another Celtic throw. And Aberdeen continuing to trail the French side Strasbourg in the Conference League 1-0 at Pataudry. Coverage of that continues on BBC Radio Scotland Digital and 810 Medium Wave and Extra here on FM and Sound. Celtic in the Europa League but trailing Roma 3-0, and they have it with Tenecti down the left of the Roma half as he knocks it in field to Hatate. Little reverse ball, left hand side of the box for Engels, tries to pull it back and it's cut out, and eventually it ends up bouncing in the air and it falls favourably for Svilar. He gets his gloves onto it and pulls it out to Stephen El Shaarawy on this left hand side, where he finds Ferguson on the touchline. A poor ball by Evan Ferguson, straight to McGregor. Now it's Yang, sidesteps away from Ferguson, slips it through to Iheanacho. Now Engels is back to goal at the edge of the Roma box, leaves it for McGregor. McGregor back to Bernardo. Little chip ball with the right foot out to Tenecti on the left, level with the Roma penalty spot, up against Celik. Good play by Tenecti, back in his right side. Low ball back to Scales, who turns it back there to Bernardo. And now Donovan under pressure from El Shaarawy, turns it to his left for Bernardo, who scoops it with the right foot out to the left hand side, but Tenecti can't control. And it sums up Celtic's night as it goes out for a throw into Roma over on the far side. Celtic 0, Roma 3. We're beyond the hour mark, 61 on the clock.
Yeah, when Tenecti picked that ball up, I'm just waiting for him to get it on his left foot and just get it in quickly into the box and get Iheanacho to make that run. Instead he takes touch, then tries to take the player on, then knocks it back again to Hatate, and it all just fizzles out, you know, and get that ball in early.
Well, as you can hear in the background, potentially Anthony Ralston has come on to replace Jan Hyun-Jun, so Celtic, having started the match with 3 left-sided defenders, have now got 2 right-footers on, and it looks like Donovan's going to push up one. Ralston in the right-hand side of that back 3 now. Celtic come down the left with Tenecti against Celik. It's level with the penalty spot. Left-hand side of the Roma box, back towards Bernardo, who forces it out to Scales. McGregor slides it in field there to Ralston, then to McGregor, and turns it out to Scales on the left-hand side. He flicks it out there to Tenecti. Tenecti looking to get the ball into the box, comes all the way through. Hermoso wasn't sure what was going on behind him, so slides it out for a corner to Celtic over on that left-hand side. 3-0 Roma, 62 played.
Yeah, that's what can happen when you put the ball into the box. You know, defenders are unsure. It's a wet night, slippy conditions, and they end up giving away a corner, and it's an opportunity for Celtic.
Corner will be taken by Engels, right-footed in-swinger from that safe standing section on the far side. Bends it in. It's not the worst delivery. Comes off a Roma head and behind for a corner out on the other side this time. Looked like for a split second it was looping into the top right corner. But it will stay Celtic 0, Roma 3. Celtic have another corner.
Yeah, good in-swinging corner, bit of pace on it, yeah, it just comes off the head of the defender, and now this is going to be an outswinger from the opposite side by Engels.
Can Celtic strike back? Engels to take, right in front of the Roma supporters, off to our right. And it comes, it's headed away conclusively this time by Ferguson. There's Engels giving it to McGregor as it came back out to this near side for Celtic. Hatate gets on to it. He's got Engels making a good run in behind El Shaarawy. Low ball in by Engels, and Iheanacho scores! They have one back. Kelechi Iheanacho, who's just returned from injury, gives Celtic a chance. It's a small one, but it is a chance nevertheless. Celtic 1, Roma 3.
Yeah, good play from Celtic on this right-hand side. Good little interchange of passes, and then getting that ball into, very similar to maybe the goal that Roma scored. The tap-in from Ferguson. This time was a tap-in from Iheanacho. And yeah, put Celtic, gives them something in this second half to get excited about, I assume.
was a lovely ball, wasn't it, in behind El Shaarawy here, fabulous. And he gave Iheanacho the opportunity to strike, which he does, though they are checking for an offside, I think. It's been that kind of night, you wouldn't be surprised if it was chalked off. And there is an offside check going on here. The Romanian referee. But looks okay apparently, but it is extremely tight. In fact, there you go. It's not okay. The goal has been chopped off. Offside, and it stays Celtic 0, Roma 3.
Yeah, it just sums up the night for Celtic. To be honest, missed a penalty, now missed, obviously pulled offside, but again, their best bit of play in the second half down this right-hand side to create that opportunity for Iheanacho, and he just strayed that little bit offside. So it's been one of those nights.
Svilar takes the free kick from inside his box, launches it forward. Trusty gets his head onto it, back into the Roma half it goes. Iheanacho's done well since coming on, to be fair, as an offside flag is up against Roma this time on that far side. He's put himself about, he's hit the ball in the net, it hasn't counted, but does that look quick free kick for Hatate? He's taken, looks like it's going to bounce for Svilar, it has done. Hatate frustrated, so he throws his arm at fresh air as McGregor finds Tenecti, back to McGregor, who works it to the left for Scales. Almost on 66, Celtic 3-0 down still. McGregor forward to Hatate. He's lost out where he was fouled. Free kick to Celtic, just to the left of the centre and midway inside Roma territory.
Yeah, they're more control of the ball in the second half, Celtic, definitely, and that's allowing their wing backs to get higher and get the ball in the right areas where they want to be, higher up the pitch, and just now they're a little bit more control in the middle of the pitch.
Well, Roma are going to make changes as Celtic take the free kick. McGregor, we'll get to that in a moment. It's Tenecti. There's been a goal at Pittodrie, or there might be a goal at Pittodrie. There's a penalty at Pittodrie. We'll get to that in a moment as well. As Hatate picks up the edge of the box, shoots straight at Svilar, who holds on. Tyrone Smith's at Pittodrie for us.
Yeah, it's Strasbourg who've got the chance to double their advantage. That's after they were awarded a penalty. Nicky Devlin, the man judged to have fouled the goal scorer Marshall Godo as he burst into the box. So they've got the ball in the spot. I don't know what the big discussions are about amongst the Strasbourg players, but it's Ismail Dakouri who's just placing the ball again. You can hear the boos in the background coming from the red shed. The Aberdeen fans doing their best to try and put the Strasbourg player off, so he's taking just a few steps back. He's eyeballing Dimitar Mitov, who's had to make a couple of wonderful saves in this second half already. He steps up, and it's Mitov who saved it. It's still Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 1.
Well, something to be thankful of for Scottish clubs tonight, finally. Mitov saving that penalty, but the Dons still trail in the Conference League. And as if things couldn't get worse for Celtic, 3-0 down, they've had a goal chopped off themselves. Gasparini's going to throw on Pellegrini, Dybala and Bailey. Dybala, of course, a World Cup winner, as he brings on some of the stars for the rest of this one. And we're into the final quarter of it on Matchday 6 in the Europa League. Here come the changes. Sule is coming off. He's had a quieter second half. He was all action in the opening 45. And he's going to be replaced by Paulo Dybala, who was part of that Argentina squad that won in Qatar 3 years ago, coming up to the third anniversary of that triumph, that wonderful final against France. El Shaarawy is going to come off as well. And they're also going to take Ferguson off, who had only one Roma goal before tonight. He's now got 3. He scored 2 of their 3 tonight. As Pellegrini comes on for El Shaarawy, and Bailey, who's on loan from Aston Villa, Jamaica international, and he is going to come on for Ferguson. 3 stars.
Yeah.
All internationals of repute.
Yeah, you always expect him to make changes, and when you can bring those players off the bench. They've lost their way a little bit in the second half. I think Celtic have been the better team. They've kept better control of the ball. They've got into those forward positions much easier and better. because they have been able to pass that ball through midfield better.
No real pressure on them now, though, is there? 3-0 down, game's gone.
No, I think that goal, if Celtic had to get that goal, that might have added a bit more, but 3-0 still, it's a huge task.
Well, when you saw what Midtjylland did to Celtic a couple of match days ago, I don't remember, Roma beat Midtjylland last time out, so in this tournament there's always a step up even from the Danes. Donovan moves it for Ralston, whose touch takes it out for a throw in deep inside the Roma half on this near side. Celtic 0, Roma 3, approaching the final 20 of the 90. And there will come a time pretty soon where Nancy is going to have to start focusing on the League Cup final. And as I say, you know, I mean, it's kind of depressing to say, but if it was 3-0 at half-time, it's a kind of scoreline, given the way the match went in that first half, that Nancy might have subscribed to a full-time scoreline of 3-0.
Yeah, but listen, you know, he's got to find a team. If he's going to play this system, he's got to find the players that can actually play it, and a very kind of almost in a way that's going to.
Should you wait until you get a transfer window before you do that, though?
Yeah, well, listen, that's the question. That's what we all thought was going to happen, but it didn't. He made the changes right away, and
Scales moves it infield there for Hatate on the halfway line. Out to the left-hand side it goes for Tenekte. Tenekte on that left-hand side, left angle of the box. Nice good play by Tenekte. Rolls it back to Engels, encouraged to shoot, and by the time he decided to do so, it was too late, and it's charged down by Pellegrini. He was on the score sheet at Ibrox in their 2-0 win there against Rangers a few match days ago, and there's a loose ball down the left-hand side which goes behind for a goal kick to Roma, which Spilar will take momentarily. So earlier it was Ferencváros 2, Rangers 1, knocking Rangers out of the Europa League. They won't be going through even if they win their last two matches. Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 1. Aberdeen will be going out of the Conference League unless they can win that one and turn things in their favour in the last 15 odd minutes of that one. And Celtic 0, Roma 3 here. Celtic will at least have a chance still, with matches away to Bologna and at home to Utrecht to come next month. Offside flag is up against Iheanacho here over on the far side. To come across the weekend, tomorrow championship action on the BBC Scotland channel. Ayr United against St Johnstone at Somerset. 7:30 start for the programme, 7:45 kick-off. Then on Saturday, 3 Premiership matches, 2 at 3, Dundee United, Motherwell, Livingston, Dundee with Falkirk Hearts at 8 o'clock. The league leaders going to Falkirk, who were derailed a little bit by Hibs last weekend. Then on Sunday, Aberdeen host Kilmarnock in the Premiership, 3 o'clock kick-off. 3:30, League Cup final, St Mirren Celtic live from Hampden. Full coverage of all of that. Rangers Hibs to come on Monday evening. That game was moved to the Monday because of that aforementioned cup final, which takes place in this very city the day before. And that is the weekend ahead, a long weekend. It's been a long match for the Celtic supporters, and there are plenty of green seats visible, and fans have seen enough here. It's been a good few thousand have decided to take their leave of absence, despite the fact there's still more than 15 minutes left of this one. As Trusty picks up into Hatate, first time forward to Iheanacho, who goes down, challenged by Ndika, no free kick. McGregor's down as well, no free kick there. Pellegrini and then Piscili as well to keep it going here, and Dybala flashes it out to Leon Bailey on the right hand side, bit of space to work in. Bailey into the box, opportunity perhaps here for Mancini, keeps it alive, back to Bailey, right hand side of the area, looking for space to shoot. He does, he scores! Fabulous finish from Leon Bailey, as loads more Celtic supporters get on their feet and head out of Celtic Park in disgust. Bailey plants it into the top left corner of the net, and Celtic are staring at one of their most embarrassing home defeats in Europe here. Joint second worst right now. Celtic 0, Roma 4, and there's still 16 in the 90 to play.
Yeah, listen, 4-0. It's not the night that the Celtic fans were hoping for, and certainly that was again poor defending, allowing Bailey to keep control of the ball, come on the inside, and then pull the trigger, and you just got to keep players down the outside, gives the goalkeeper a better chance for me, and that's just poor 1v1 defending.
You can tell in Packy's voice how spirited he is tonight, and little wonder.
Yeah, I think we all are. You know, we expected a night here. Listen, I always thought it was going to be a very, very difficult game. I wasn't sure how they were going to get on with the shape they were playing up against a good, Roma team that has made changes even in the second half and probably stronger now since they made those changes.
That's fair,
And Celtic, obviously, nothing's gone right for them. They miss a penalty, goal knocked off. An OG from Scales, so everything's gone against them, but their defending also has been very, very poor on the night, and just they don't look comfortable in their skin at the moment.
Well, they're checking this one. I think it's there's a very tight offside decision to be made here by the officials, so I'm just waiting to see if Bailey's goal stands. It's been a fairly lengthy stoppage, this.
Well, you mentioned about goal difference too, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, that could be massive.
And this could be vital. And if it's chalked off, it's very, very tight. They're taking a long, long time over this.
Celtic have to try and get out of here with a 3-0 if they can. If this goal is ruled out.
Goal change.
And as you can see, they're still checking it. The ref's actually walking back towards the Celtic box here. Looks like this is going to be ruled out as well.
Yes, offside.
It has been offside given. No goal, stays at 3-0.
Okay, at least something's gone right for them from that perspective. And here's another substitution for Celtic.
Well, it's the lesser spotted Balikwisha. He's going to come on for Hatate. Balikwisha, who's handed the number 10 shirt. Big expectation level at any club when you get the number 10. Barely seen him. And he replaces Hatate.
Yeah, I thought Hatate was decent in the second half. I thought in the middle of the pitch he was the one that was getting on the ball and keeping that ball going and good control and linking the game up. Balikwisha, I just wonder where he's going to play. Is he going to play in that sort of almost same position? He must be.
Well, the goal didn't stand, but the Celtic fans left anyway. Loads of them. I mean, I'm just having a look around here, Packy. There must be about a third of the stadium gone.
Yeah, well, listen, when you're 3-0 down in a Europa League game, when you should be really competing, a Celtic team should be able to compete at this level, and that's not been the case. And so, yeah, the fans are a bit disillusioned at the moment.
Schmeichel's ball into midfield. Iheanacho is fouled by Ndika, who's going to be booked here. A yellow card for Evan Ndika.
Yeah, clever from Iheanacho. He just knocked the ball's played into him from Schmeichel, and he's just tucked it around the corner, and then, of course, had the body contact and won his foul.
Tinekti on the left-hand side of the Roma box. Back it comes to Scales. Scales on the turn, finds Balikwisha, and out to Tinekti. Rolls it back to McGregor, left angle of the box this. Short ball to his left for Bernardo.
Yeah, just line it up in the box. I'll get the ball in, just drop a shoulder. If you do come in the side there, bend it in.
They've got enough in the box to do that, haven't they?
Yeah.
So let's come back to Ralston, who goes back to Trusty.
It's gone now, they keep control of the ball, but you're not going to score goals if you don't get a ball in the box.
Paul Ziolkowski will be coming on in a moment for Roma. As Ralston shifts it out to Donovan on this near side level with the edge of the centre circle in the Roma half. Donovan goes back the way, 12 minutes left. He's back into his own half for McGregor, who finds Scales. Now it's with Balikwisha. Comes back to Trusty. And then McGregor to Ralston. Awful preparation for Celtic. I mean, they want progress in Europe, and there's still an opportunity of that. But when it comes to that League Cup final on Sunday, I mean, could mentally do all kinds of damage. Back-to-back defeats, and a real lesson tonight in that first half anyway. And Schmeichel launches it long, looking for Balikwisha. It's headed away there by Mancini. Bounces off Donovan and out for a Roma throw, and now they will make the change.
Yeah, I just want to talk you through this. They started with the ball with Tinekti up on the up level with the corner of the 18-yard box. When they should have been getting that ball into the box, they had 4 or 5 players in there. Suddenly that didn't happen, and then they go back and back and back and back, and it ends up back with Schmeichel. and he passes out, and then it goes back to him again, and then he kicks it along, and they give the ball away. You know, for me, you've got to be more talking about creativity.
Hermoso has been replaced by Jan Ziolkowski, arrived from Legia Warsaw. He's only 20. He's been capped a few times by the Polish national team already. The big centre back, he comes on as Bisili loses out to McGregor in the midfield. It's Bernardo feeding it through to Iheanacho. Balikwisha in field, Iheanacho on the turn, rolls it out to that left hand side for Tenekti. 2 in green and white in the middle. Iheanacho making his way in there as well to make it 3, but Tenekti is to settle for the corner as it bounces back off Mancini. And Tenekti's going to leave it for Engels. 3-0 Roma, 10 minutes of the 90 left.
Yeah, the only thing that for Celtic's point of view now is to try and just save face here and maybe get a goal back and help their goal difference. That's for sure.
Yeah, every goal could count here. 2 games left, especially for those who may land on 10 points. Celtic on 7 right now. They're not going to be adding to their points total tonight, but they can settle the goal difference down as it comes in from Engels. It's headed away. McGregor plays it off the ref for the 3rd time tonight. He's allowed an advantage. Celtic still have it wide on that far side. It's back with McGregor to Tenekti, to McGregor, sweeps it in field to Bernardo, who moves it back to McGregor on the left. In field for Bernardo, leaves it for Scales, out to Ralston on this near side. And down the right hand side of the box goes Trusty, who slips on the slick surface, and it goes out for a Roma throw-in.
Yeah, but again, going nowhere. You know, they get a ball on the left-hand side, they work it back, work it across the pitch, comes on the right-hand side, and eventually then it's gone again. So, you know, just not for me. You've got to try to work something when you're in those wide areas to get that ball into an area where you can create something.
Celtic's 33rd meeting with a side from Italy. They've only won 7 of the previous 32, though they did pick up back-to-back victories over Roma's neighbours Lazio in the Europa League in 2019. As they give it away, Celtic's an opportunity here for Bailey. He's got him behind the 2 centre-backs. He's in. He shoots, saved by Schmeichel. And the rebound to Ballad's blocked. And away it goes out the far side for a Roma throw-in, and it will stay at 3-0.
Yeah, again, they were lucky there. Listen, give the ball away in the middle of the pitch. Bernardo couldn't get it under control, and then the ball's played through. You know, for Bailey, that pace he has that he showed when he was at Aston Villa, that's still there, and the goalkeeper makes a decent save, and the rebound then hits off. I think it was Trusty, but again, big chance for Roma to add to that 3-0.
The one thing I would say is that the next time Celtic take part in this competition, away to Bologna, we will be in the midst of an open transfer window, so there is potential for there to be new players in for that match and the home game against Utrecht, and they've got to try and get a point at least when they go to Bologna, to try and make sure that Utrecht game's got something riding on it.
Absolutely, and you know, you've got to give the manager time. You know, and it's not easy to give him time in the middle of a season, that's for sure, but you've got to give him at least, I think, you know, 1 transfer window, maybe 2 transfer windows anyway, to see some sort of change. If he's going to continue with his shape, he needs to find players that can actually play it, especially in those wide areas, and he needs a striker, and then he's got to work really hard on the pitch in training and so on. So that's crucial for him to get that time. Whether the fans allow it to happen, I see Dermot Desmond and Peter Lawwell and the guys are all sitting down here in front of us. They've seen it with their own eyes tonight, that they have to spend, allow him to spend money. I'm sure he's got some targets lined up.
There's Callum McGregor forward to Iheanacho with his back to goal midway inside the Roma half, under pressure from Mancini, gets it back to Scales, who'll slip it to his right for Ralston. In the Conference League it remains Aberdeen 0, Strasbourg 1. Aberdeen heading out before their final match, which is in the Czech Republic against Sparta Prague next Thursday. Conference League ends its league phase this month. Still those 2 games to be played in the Europa League in January. The previously injured Angelino is going to come on for Roma. The Spanish wing-back, scored against Rangers in the Europa League semi-final in 2022. And the win for Leipzig in that first leg, the Rangers overturned it in the second to reach the final.
He was a really good player, and injuries faltered his career a little bit, but certainly really can play that wide position extremely well.
So Roma have made all their changes now as Bernardo picks it up in the midfield, having initially given it away in Stel Ainawi. Out to Tenecti on the left-hand side of the Roma box here. And then a Balikwisha cross, cut out by Mancini and behind for a Celtic corner. 3-0 Roma.
That's the first time I've seen somebody overlapping Tenecti down that side, and it allowed Balikwisha to get free and get at least try to get across into the box.
Engels chasing down the far side, but Pellegrini will see it behind for the goal kick. The pass was a little bit undercooked for Arne Engels, and he couldn't get there, and that allowed Pellegrini to get between the man and the ball and see it behind. And in the final 5 minutes of the 90, and at least from a Celtic point of view, it has not got worse since the break, when they were 3-0 down, like they were against PSG when they were hammered 5-0 here in 2017, and what remains their heaviest home European defeat.
Yeah, they could have. Listen, I think it's been a better second half for them. I think the change with Iheanacho coming up front has helped him a little bit. He's a focal point, and you know that he'll come to the ball and try to hold on to it and so on. And even Donovan coming on in this sort of right-hand side that looks a little bit more secure, I've got to say.
Did you kind of, your thoughts on the starting 11? Did you raise an eyebrow when you saw he'd put the same team out as that started here on Sunday? Yeah,
especially against a team of this calibre. I don't think you can go with two out-and-out wingers as your wing-backs.
Should he have been more pragmatic?
Yeah, I think he could have been.
Schmeichel's just put it straight out for a Roma throw on the far side.
Yeah, that's poor. That is really poor. And he, that's why he came to this club, because of his passing ability, I think, more than anything else. But that is poor.
He's in the twilight of his career, obviously, Kasper Schmeichel. I think Celtic will be in the market for another goalkeeper at some point in the very near future.
I just think
it's out of contract, isn't he, at the end of this season?
I think the discussion is, do you change it to a back five in the middle of a season when this team has never played really in a back five before, and the players are so unused to it, and it's going to take time. And when would you prefer to do that? Probably a pre-season.
City in the first half, would it have been ridiculous to send out effectively the same team as started in Rotterdam? They got a brilliant result and a brilliant performance on the night. Beat Feyenoord,
and they're used to it, and that he obviously has his own ideas on what he wants to and how he wants this team to play. But I'm sure he's done his homework on them also, and no, here's a chance.
Yeah, Bailey chasing it, but it comes trundling through to Kasper Schmeichel. And the Celtic fans who've been berating the board for most of this season will look at performances and results like this and say, this is what we were going on about, this is what we were talking about, this is why we're protesting on a week-by-week basis. Iheanacho, as his jersey tugged by Sielkowski, goes into the book. Free kick, Celtic left the centre midway inside the Roma half. Almost 88 on the clock. Celtic 0, Roma 3.
Yeah, decent play again from Iheanacho, just coming, using his body, using his strength, turning the player. Ends up getting a free kick and the player getting booked. But that was crying out for. And I did say at half time and even before that maybe putting two strikers up front, especially when you're playing three at the back, you can afford to have that maybe extra player instead of him in midfield. Go and play high up front, high up, and they're the targets for you then to play up to.
Iheanacho, he's back towards the halfway line, but he's worked it to Ralston. It's been a real positive, actually, Kelechi Iheanacho in the second half for Celtic, as Ralston gets it from Donovan. In comes his cross, not great, it's sailed past everyone. Tenecti, though, is at least able to pick it up wide on the left, but he bundles it back to Scales, so as to retreat to get onto it.
Again, an overlap down this right-hand side, and that's where
dreadful ball.
Tony Ralston, he's playing as a right centre-back in this formation, but he wants to play as a right back, getting into those positions.
Dybala picks up for Roma over on the far side. A brilliant footwork there by the Argentinian. Finds Pellegrini. He's the Number 7 for Roma came off the bench, one of their star players, the Italy international. He shifts it in field to Eli Nawi, whose father's a former Grand Slam tennis quarter-finalist of repute.
Good info.
The US Open and the Aussie Open as well. As Bailey picks up at the edge of the centre circle, edge of the D rather, and then rolls it back to Dybala, whose long ball's ambitious and it sails behind for the goal kick. We are well into the 90th minute. It remains Celtic 0, Roma 3. A punishing night for Scottish football generally, and for the Scottish champions in particular here at home.
Yeah, very much so. And you know, and going into this Europa League, they didn't make the Champions League. Maybe that was a blessing in one way, but they haven't been able to compete well enough, I don't think. Apart from that Feyenoord game, they haven't really been able to compete in this competition either.
Yeah, it's been pretty disappointing. They've at least still got a chance of going through, which is more than could be said of the other two tonight. There will be no opportunity for Rangers or Aberdeen to make inroads in their European seasons, to play out their final matches in that knowledge. There's a foul there on Angelino on this near side. It will be a free kick to Roma, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Celtic half. There are many more Celtic fans heading for the hills. Many did so a long time ago. Comes back to Svilar. Rolls it out to the right-hand side there for Mancini. Into the edge of the centre circle for Lorenzo Pellegrini. Goes long, looking for Bailey. And Tenecti is the covering player. He'll see it behind. There's an offside flag against Bailey anyway. But keeping it to 3 goals is about as good as they can do tonight, I think, by the looks of it for Celtic.
Yeah, well, listen, the manager's got a huge task now to pick this group of players up again and make them believe in this system, but also prepare them for a cup final coming up, because you know, we had here's a chance for Celtic.
Yeah, and it almost dropped to Donovan. He's still battling for it in the box. Makes back to Balakwisha, shoots straight at Svilar, who holds on. There's a chance to pull one back there. And as we're saying, as the full-time whistle goes at Pittodrie, Aberdeen are out of the Conference League, beaten 1-0 at home by Strasbourg, despite having the ball in the net early on. And the French side failing with a penalty, is saved by Mitov for Celtic. They've got that opportunity next month, and any kind of goal back could be massively beneficial to them. They are clinging on in 24th spot right now as the final whistles begin to go across the continent. And there's Kasper Schmeichel in his own box, thinking it out to Donovan, whose little flick in field goes straight to Wrench. And I think Roma are getting a free kick here. And foul in the midfield on Indika, so that will be a free kick about 10 yards from the near side touchline. Wilfred Nancy down there having a conversation with the 4th official. It's going to be back-to-back defeats at the start of the Nancy Celtic tenure. We know Ange Postecoglou had a difficult start to his time as Celtic manager, both domestically and in Europe, went out the Champions League after the blink of an eye, really. As Mancini waltzes forward up to the edge of the box, stabs it into the area. It's straight to Donovan, though. Donovan able to clear. We're into the final minute of the 4 that were added on at the end. And there's reaction to come from the 3 matches tonight. We didn't hear from Budapest earlier on. We'll get reaction to that Rangers defeat to Ferencváros earlier, to Aberdeen's loss to Strasbourg, and indeed here. And it's very difficult for Wilfred Nancy to be able to put meat in the bones of any questions he's asked, because he's just in the door. And
yeah, he might say a few positives about the second half, but overall the questions will still come thick and heavy from the shape, the way he played the same team tonight, all those questions. You know, and you know, you can go through all the questions. You know, Scales, Tierney, you're playing 3 left-siders in your back to start off with. You know, the wing backs, you know, playing 2 wingers in those positions, all those questions, you know, playing with one striker when maybe you could go with two.
Well, they need to try and see this out. The long ball comes through there from Wrench, looking for Bailey, but Schmeichel's onto it. There's the final whistle. At least it didn't get any worse in the second half. Celtic were better. And it's easy to play a bit better when the game's already gone. The first half is where the damage was done. The damage began as early as 6 minutes in. A Liam Scales' own goal from a Soulé corner. Boyhood Celtic fan Evan Ferguson scored twice before the break. The first was a tap-in from close range. The second for him, Roma's third, was a smart finish. Celtic saw an Engels penalty, which he won himself, smack off the post. Just after that, in first half stoppage time, Kelechi Iheanacho had the ball in the net in the second half. It was ruled out for an offside, as was Leon Bailey's effort, which looked to have made it 4-0. But it is defeat on the latest ignominious night for Scottish football and for the coefficient, which is taking an almighty pounding this season. I'm afraid to say there's going to be early July starts before too long for Scottish clubs. It's back-to-back defeats for Wilfred Nancy at the start of his chapter here at Celtic Park. In the small matter of the League Cup final, just days away now. They've played twice since St Mirren last played. They're going to have to try and turn the ship around quickly and get their heads set for that one. And St Mirren will fancy their chances of piling on the misery on Celtic, who I think are still just about clinging on to 24th spot in the Europa League table. 24th is the final place that takes you through to the next stage and that knockout playoff round in February. But unlike Rangers and Aberdeen, Celtic do still have hope. Hope in the shape of 2 more matches to come in January. Next one, a trip to Emilia Romagna and Bologna, where they will take on another Italian side, having been put in their place by Roma tonight. They've got to go to Italy and try and get themselves a point there. And then beat Utrecht on the final match day. 4 points would be enough to take them through. 3 might be. Depends on goal difference. It's going to be so tight on 10 points. You might not make it. 2 did last season, 3 didn't though. And Celtic's goal difference took a bit of a hammering tonight as well, because it finished at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, AS Roma 3.